Okay, so this is how to write an opinion paragraph, how to write a response to an opinion question. So this is going to help you get the structure, get everything you need to write out this paragraph, which will show your opinion on some topic, and it will help your ideas grow. It will help them be clear and strong so that whoever reads this can totally understand what you are saying and maybe even agree with you. So what we're going to look at is the question here. Should we ban shark feeding? This is an interesting question that comes from this video. So this is Reading Explorer 2, and in Unit 6 we learned about swimming with sharks. Sharks can be fed, actually. We can go and we can feed sharks. It's kind of a fun thing for tourists. I think they were doing this in Florida, and you can go out and you can feed the sharks. This has caused some problems, though, and people are generally a little afraid of sharks. So the question is, should we keep feeding them like this? Or should we ban it? Should we stop it altogether? So you're going to write an opinion on that. And the best thing you can do to start is, well, first of all, look at the structure. You're going to have your opinion. So you can make, it doesn't have to be too long. You can have your one sentence, your opinion. Do you agree? Do you think we should ban shark feeding? Yes or no. And then say why. And when you say why, you have to tell us your reasons. And then later in the paragraph, after that, you have to go into detail. You have to state your reason number one again, give some really good details, and then reason number two, give some more details or supporting evidence to really make it a strong reason, a strong idea, and then conclusion or wrap it all up. That will help the reader totally understand what you're trying to say. So the first thing you can do is choose your answer and then brainstorm. Brainstorm ideas. Brainstorming is great because you can do anything you want. You don't have to try too hard when you're brainstorming. You can just let the ideas fall out of your head. Okay, so I need to choose. Should we ban shark feeding? I'm going to say yes, and then I am going to put it down here. So ban shark feeding question mark. And then I'm going to say, I just want to put my yes there because I really want to remind myself that yes, we need to do it. Then I need to put some ideas. I can put any type of idea. Don't worry about this. Just let the ideas flow naturally. Okay, ban shark feeding. What am I thinking? Sharks. Maybe get used to humans. Maybe that's bad. I don't know. I'm just bringing out ideas here. Sharks get used to humans. I'll fix that up. Not a very nice K. Okay. Sharks get used to humans. What else can I say? Well, I remember reading the book, so I'm actually stealing this from the book, but they associate. Sharks associate humans, and I can do shorthand. I can do, instead of saying writing with, I can just do W with a line on top. Sharks associate humans with food. This is just an idea. Maybe this is bad. What else can I say? I really kind of have to stretch my brain now. Should we ban shark feeding? Shark feeding, yes, okay. Sharks associate humans with food. Sharks get used to humans. Maybe I could even say, I don't know, I could say it's unnatural. Unnatural, and then of course I need to check if that's right. Spelling. Yes, unnatural. So it's unnatural, maybe? That's just an idea. It's unnatural. What else can I say? Ban shark feeding. Yes. Sharks get used to humans. Sharks associate humans with food. It's unnatural. I'm really just going to say anything that's popping into my head here. So I'm just going to, I can say anything. Any questions? Where do they get the food? Where do they get the food? Where does it come from? Maybe that's an issue. I don't know. Just brainstorming here. Where do they get the food? So you can ask questions. You could just say funny things. Really anything that comes to your brain. I just had one and I forgot it as I was writing that. But, oh, maybe actually this one I could say just ecosystem. So the ecosystem is the system of plants and animals living together, especially in this part of the world. They're living in the water. So maybe it disturbs the ecosystem because maybe sharks are supposed to get their food from another place. Maybe they're just supposed to hunt their food, and maybe that's good for the ecosystem. So when humans come in and start doing it for fun and for tourism, maybe that disrupts the ecosystem. So I have some just ideas flowing now, and they're just kind of spinning in my brain. They get used to the humans. Maybe they associate humans with food. Maybe it's unnatural. Where do they get the food? Maybe getting the food is bad. Maybe it hurts the ecosystem. I could even try another one. Maybe I can just say it creates problems. So this is really good for just getting those ideas going. It's kind of like riding a bicycle. You start riding a bicycle and you start pedaling. And if you're new to riding a bicycle, it might be a bit shaky, it might be a bit hard to get going, but then you get some momentum and you just keep going and going, and then it becomes really easy. And ideas just flow out like when you're riding down a street on a bicycle and you feel good. Okay, so these are just some ideas. What I'm going to do now is make another page. And so I know that I need to have my opinion. I know that I need to have some reasons for backing it up. So I am going to put my opinion here. Opinion. So I think, yes, we should ban shark feeding. And then I need to say why. And that's when I give my reasons. Okay, and for this response, I'm just going to do, yeah, just two. Just two reasons. Okay. So, why? Well, I'm going back to my brainstorming. Have all these things problems. Where do they get food? Unnatural. Humans with food. Okay, okay. So, opinion. Yes, I think they should ban it. Why? Maybe because, and it's also really good to have some evidence. So you can actually go back to the video and just read what's going on in the video. You can read it. So, what do they say here? He's worried that sharks may be losing their fear of humans. Oh, okay. Feeding sharks to attract them. That's why they do it. Yep. Investigating to see if you have food. That's reason enough for banning the feeding of sharks. Okay. Hmm. Okay. So I'm getting some ideas here. I have some evidence from the video that basically, if you are feeding sharks, the sharks are going to be more used to humans, and that might actually lead to more attacks because maybe they associate humans with food now. But if a human is just swimming on the beach and they're just having fun, the shark might come up to them thinking, "Ooh, maybe I can get some food." The human doesn't know what's going on. They might panic, and if you panic in front of a shark, they might think you're prey, or they might just be really curious, and they might just bite you. They call it a hit and run. They might bite you to see if you are prey. So that could be pretty bad. So why should we ban shark feeding? I'm going to say because sharks will or can, doesn't have to be perfect here, sharks will associate humans with food. Okay, and then I'll have to do some details talking about that. That's okay, I can use details from the video. And now, reason number 2. So you have to stretch it a bit. I think this ecosystem thing is pretty cool. So you could also say like, well, maybe we shouldn't be feeding sharks because we don't know where we're getting the food from. Maybe the food could even harm the sharks. Maybe it's not good for them. That's okay. You can have any type of idea here. So maybe the food will harm the sharks, but I'm going to go with the ecosystem one. So maybe it disrupts the ecosystem. Maybe it's related to the unnatural idea. So I'm just going to put that here. Disrupts the ecosystem. You know, the food chain. Disrupts the food chain. I could say disrupts the food chain. Okay, and I'm not really sure, but this is my opinion. And that's okay. If it's your opinion, you don't have to be 100% certain. You just have to have an interesting idea and have some evidence. So maybe it disrupts ecosystem, the ecosystem, I should say, if I want to be proper. The ecosystem, or even you can say the food chain. So what I just did here, this takes a while. It's not easy all the time, but I just did some brainstorming and then I came up with my reasons, and now I really feel ready to write this response. So I don't want to take too much more time going over this, but I can basically just insert some things here. So make sure to indent when you have your opinion. And here we go. Do you think, here's the question, do you think we should ban, or shark feeding should be banned? Do you think we should ban shark feeding? I am going to say yes. Of course, you would say you could start off with shark feeding is a very popular thing for tourists. However, I think that it should be banned because it has negative consequences. For example, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to make it short, and I will just do the indent just so you remember that. I'll just say this is not the real sentence. This is just kind of an outline. Yes, because it causes issues. It causes issues. So this is really basic. You can do this when you start off. You can make it really basic. Sorry, it causes issues. And I can say, yes, because it causes issues, sharks might associate humans with food, and sharks might associate humans with food. So this is a really rough draft. I love to do rough outlines. Sharks might associate humans with food, and it might disrupt the ecosystem. Okay, and then so that would be my opinion. That's a really rough outline, not perfect. And then I would go into my reason, and I would say something like this. When sharks get fed by humans, they start to associate them with food, which may cause future problems. And then when I give a detail, I do like to say, for example, if a shark gets used to a human, it might be prone to approaching again. I won't say be prone. I want to be really basic here. For example, if a shark gets used to a human, it might be less scared and approach other humans. However, if these humans or people, if these humans are not, if these humans don't have food, yes, however, if these humans don't have food and are just relaxing in the water, they might be shocked to find a shark rubbing up against them, and this could lead to a shark attack. Definitely. Okay, so there we go. That is our detail. That is our reason. Yes, because it causes issues. So if I wanted to go back into my opinion and make it really good, I could give a nice brief outline of the whole question. So do you think we should ban shark feeding? And I could say shark feeding is a popular tourist attraction in many places because sharks are really majestic creatures. However, it could cause many negative issues, and I think that shark feeding should be banned. It should be banned because sharks might start associating humans with food, and what is our second reason? And it might disrupt the ecosystem, which could have really negative impacts. So that's the intro opinion. You don't have to do too much. You can just be basic at the beginning and just keep reworking it and reworking it. And then we have our outline. This is all a rough draft. This is my rough draft. I like to do this first and then clean it up. I'm going to go into my reason 2 here and then finish up. So reason 2, disrupt the ecosystem. Being really rough here, not too professional with all my words and sentences. Disrupt the ecosystem. Okay, let me give some details. Sharks need to get food naturally, and if we start feeding them, it might disturb the balance of the ecosystem or food chain. This could affect other species in the area and lead to, we talked about negative impacts before, this could lead to negative impacts on the environment. And that would be my detail for reason number 2. I'm just going to make reason number 2, the sentence, a bit better here. So, feeding sharks might disrupt the ecosystem and the area. Well, let's say feeding sharks might disrupt the ecosystem and the surrounding area. So that's reason number 2. Reason number 1, they might associate food with humans, cause future problems. Reason number 2, it might disrupt the ecosystem and the surrounding area. Okay, I give my detail here, and then conclusion would just be, so in conclusion, I think, I'll just do that here, really brief. This should be the easiest part because everything's already done. In conclusion, I think shark feeding, and we can't really repeat everything else exactly. In conclusion, I think shark feeding should be banned because it can have a lot of negative impacts on the environment and I'm going to use a term from this video. Negative publicity. So that means like they get a lot of bad news. People think sharks are really bad. Yeah, it caused a lot of negative publicity. To ban the feeding that summer, the shark attacks, yes, caused a lot of negative publicity. Okay, so here we go. I think shark feeding should be banned because it can have a lot of negative impacts on the environment and can cause negative publicity for sharks, leading to more misunderstandings about these fantastic creatures, just to make it kind of fun there. I think shark feeding should be banned because it can have a lot of negative impacts on the environment and can cause negative publicity for sharks, leading to more misunderstandings about these fantastic creatures. So, As you can see there, I didn't actually put in my reasons, and I feel like I should put in my reasons again, kind of change it a bit so it's not word for word a copy of it exactly the same. In conclusion, I think shark feeding should be banned because sharks, yeah, I should actually change that. Because sharks may get used to humans, which could cause shark attacks, and let me take this. So there's a lot of cutting that we have to do. This is good. And can cause, well, can disrupt the natural environment of an area. I think shark feeding should be banned because sharks may get used to humans, which could cause shark attacks. I'm going to say this, shark attacks, which could cause shark attacks and negative publicity. In conclusion, I think shark feeding should be banned because sharks may get used to humans, which could cause shark attacks and negative publicity. Okay. Is this too much? I think this is too much. I think shark feeding should be banned because sharks may get used to humans. Which could cause shark attacks. I'm not going to put in negative publicity because it's just too much. I don't need all that. I will say this. It can also disrupt the natural environment of an area. Which may lead to more issues for these incredible creatures. In conclusion, I think shark feeding should be banned because sharks may get used to humans, which could cause shark attacks. It can also disrupt the natural environment of an area, which may lead to more issues for these incredible creatures. Okay, so that, I'm happy with that, and you can always go back and change more things. So that's my rough draft. Very rough. Then we have my reason here and the details, reason here, and details, then conclusion, and wrap it up. So that does take some time, and you have to go back and rework it and really like cut. It's like being a surgeon. You have to cut things out. You have to maybe add things, and definitely having your brainstorming is really good because you could see there that I was going off track a bit, and then I was thinking about my brainstorming. I came back to my opinions. Stick with what you have. Don't add any more information. So, my opinion, yes. Why? Associate humans with food. That's bad because there could be shark attacks. Reason number 2, disrupts the ecosystem. That's bad because they're not getting food the natural way. And then as I was writing, I actually thought maybe about some more ideas. Like, what if people are mistreating the sharks? I don't know if this is really happening, but what if they're being bad to the sharks? Or what if they're not feeding them really good food that's good vitamins and all those things? Because they need to hunt. They need to catch fish. So I'm going to even put this in now because I'm just thinking about it. It prevents their natural instincts. So it prevents hunting. And I think sharks are naturally, they want to hunt. They need to hunt. And this is just a side note. I've already been talking for 24 minutes, but I was watching the movie Predators. It's an alien movie. Not really good for people who are too young. But predators are these aliens, you know, and they really like to hunt. Their whole thing about what they are and what they do is they hunt. So this movie Predators is really interesting because all they do is hunt, and they drop these humans into this interesting jungle and they hunt these humans, and they just do it because that's how they survive. They must hunt. They need to hunt humans. They cannot just go and get rid of them. They need to hunt them because that is their way of life. So it's kind of similar with any animal that is a predator. So it prevents hunting, and so we could even say it prevents their natural way of life. So I just did all this on the fly, and if I go back, I might even put in a third reason. If I wanted to extend my paragraph, maybe get like a really good 100%, giving 3 reasons, I could say prevents natural way of living. So feeding the sharks prevents their natural way of living because sharks actually need to hunt and catch. That is the way they live. And some details about this. So what are the consequences? What happens? If we prevent the natural way of living, maybe the sharks will become, well, you could even say like lazy. They might become lazy. They might just kind of float around and not do anything and not care about hunting. And they're not be like real sharks because we're just giving them food and we're giving them these handouts, these little pieces of fish for them. Okay, so that is how you do a response. It takes a long time. It takes a lot of your brain. It's really good to brainstorm and go back, and that is it. So that's the end of writing an opinion.